everyone, my name is Hugo. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Kognity. I don't think I need to sell the importance of education to this crowd, hopefully. But let me also remind you something that hasn't been mentioned today, that beyond the immense intrinsic value of education, as the foundation for society, it's also a solution to many of the world's biggest problems, including prejudice, conflicts, poverty, overpopulation, and climate change. And I think Rose mentioned some really interesting stats on the state of education today. And it's safe to say that it's not going exactly where we want it to. And let me just add to what she mentioned, that looking at the numbers, there's 1.5 billion school students in the world today, going up to 2.5 billion over the next 15 years. This will require the training of 70 million new teachers, while a survey from last year here in the UK showed that 70% of teachers consider leaving their profession due to excess workload. So we have a $7 trillion industry that's currently failing. And we think that the best way to solve this is using technology, and that's why we founded Kognity. We have an extremely ambitious vision of radically improving learning for the world's 1.5 billion school students. As we've traveled around the world visiting classrooms with our former education company, we've seen 4 critical problems in the classroom that we as a society need to address. So first of all, student engagement, which is at the very core of learning, and it's just right now just not working out that well. So students are disengaged by how they're expected to learn. There's a lot of cramming going on and less learning, and as previously mentioned by panelists, there's a one-size-fits-all approach to education where teachers find it very difficult to get the tools to adapt their teaching to individual student needs. And then finally, the teacher workload, which is unsustainable and threatening the entire ecosystem. The way that we go about solving for these issues is by reinventing something that's used in every classroom, every day, all around the world, the textbook. So we've recreated the textbook experience from scratch using technology. And we build it as a web application and deliver it as software as a service. And one way of seeing what Kognity is by looking at the industry, where we on the one hand have plenty of content experts who are great at content, and on the other side of the industry have thousands and thousands of tech platforms, but these are separate entities and they don't work together that effectively. Our belief is that in order to create magic for schools and teachers and students, we need to have expertise in both these areas. So that's us in the middle. So across our 75-person team, we have former teachers, educators, content experts, as well as product managers and extremely skilled engineers. The solution that we create through our textbooks is one of a lot of interaction. So we're building an interactive learning experience for students that engages them and that gives them constant feedback on how they're doing. We guide them through learning to make sure that they repeat content they need to, so in order to not forget it. And we provide real-time analytics to teachers to let them know their students' progress, their weaknesses, their strong points, and let teachers know where they can go in and best support their students. And then finally, we automate several teacher tasks that are presently done in a manual way, saving teachers hours every week. Since our launch in 2015, we've sold this solution and onboarded schools across more than 100 countries, from Kigali in Rwanda, where our first customer school was, to China, the Middle East, North and South America, and many countries here in Europe, including the UK. We have a strong commercial model that generates high revenue growth, and we've won multiple awards, including being named Startup of the Year in Sweden, where I'm from, if you didn't get the accent, and a top 3, being named one of the top 3 most innovative EdTech companies in the world. A survey that we ran with several hundred students across multiple countries showed that 90% of students feel that they get improved scores by using Kognity compared to traditional textbooks. We've also received a lot of help and support from Educate in doing more rigorous impact studies. And the one that we have done shows a positive correlation between using Kognity and grades. And we have more impact studies in the plans. But it's not only research that evidences our impact. A couple of months ago, a school in Peru sent us this picture. But they sent us this picture together with a letter explaining how their funding for Kognity had been cut, and they asked us for help. And the letter was signed by every individual student at the school. Of course, we helped them out, but I think it's incredible that students rally in this way to ask for access to a learning resource. And I wonder when the last time was that happened for a printed textbook, or for any other learning resource for that matter. So this is the kind of impact that we want to replicate to every school across the world, and through it significantly improve learning for every school child. Thank you.